we're going to play my favorite game. Who's the worst mother in the world? Oh, now don't tell me. Let me guess. Who could it be? Could it be me? If you want to be having mother as your life.
Charlotte's mother is many things.
Charlotte, we're Jewish.
Normal isn't one of them.
Okay, how do I look?
Like a woman about to go forth in sin.
Oh, good. Exactly the look I was hoping for.
That's how Rachel liked it.
1, 2, 3.
And that's why Charlotte didn't.
Sometimes I feel like you're the child and I'm the grown-up.
What is this?
Cheese ball pick-me-ups, and for dessert, marshmallow kebabs. Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
I'm trying not to drive too fast.
Well, after my mom, nothing seems fast.
They have almost nothing in common.
Or don't do anything I would. Are you coming home with me?
Another night.
But there's one thing they do share. Men.
You kissed him? How could you do that?
Well, if I were you, Charlotte, I'd go easy. I know that you're planning a celibate life, but with half my chromosomes, I think that might be tough.
Has your mother ever talked to you about sex?
Oh, yeah.
I can get pregnant if I hang my clothes next to a man's suit.
We talk about everything. She's a wonderful mother.
Why did you think you were pregnant? You're still a virgin.
Trust me, I know about these things.
She's doing this because she has a problem, and she's probably too frightened to talk to you about.
Why would she be frightened?
Like mother, like daughter.
Maybe your life works for you, but it doesn't work for me. And I want to stay.
And do what?
Finish high school.
Great start. What's your major, town tramp?
No, Mom, the town already has one.
Cher.
I don't always know what I'm doing. It's not like you and your sister came with a book of instructions.
Bob Hoskins.
You're a hell of a woman, Rachel.
I know.
Winona Ryder.
Mary O'Brien, she dances around naked, screaming about her boyfriend's quivering loins. Shut up, Charlotte. Shut up.
Mermaids.
I can do it by my mermaid watch. It's time for me to get into my mermaid car and hit the mermaid room.
And get the mermaid out of here.
All right. Oh, I just hope I'll be fresh for the party.
Welcome to Dorking Out. My name is Sonia Mansfield, and a real woman is never too old. Joining me is my podcasting sister from another mister and the co-host of Dorking Out, Margot D. Hello, my friend.
Hello, my friend. I've got this pumpkin stuck on my head.
We are dorking out about 1990s mermaids. It's written by June Roberts. It's based on the book Mermaids by Patty Dan. Have you done this one for book versus movie before?
No, but I added it to the list.
Oh, nice. And it's directed
It's
by...
not a long book.
Oh, no. That makes sense to me because this movie is not a long movie. It's directed by Richard Benjamin. I remember him as the actor from like Westworld, but he also directed The Money Pit and My Favorite Year. And this stars Cher and Bob Hoskins. I love him. Love Bob Hoskins. Winona Ryder.
He's a doll.
He is a doll. Winona Ryder, Christina Ricci, little baby Christina Ricci.
She's so cute. I want to put her in my pocket.
Oh my God, she's adorable. Everybody drink. And then the man I know is Jake Ryan, Michael Schoeffling.
Schoeffling, I think.
Schoeffling? I'm just going to refer to him, by the way, as Jake Ryan the whole time. He's Jake Ryan from 16 Candles, and he'll never be anything
I think
else.
this is why he left show business, because he's like, fuck that.
He's all fuck people like Sonia Mansfield, who only refer to me as Jake Ryan. I'll try not to do that, but I probably will anyway. So let's start how we always do, my friend. Did you see this in the theater?
I did see this in the theater. I don't remember if I liked it or not. I thought it maybe was just cute. I have not seen it since then. I didn't even realize that until I started watching this movie. Like, oh, I haven't seen this in over 30 years.
Yes. Okay, that was me too. I saw it in the theater and I remember, oh, I like this just fine. Like I was someone who was quite taken with Winona Ryder. I was going to see everything that she did because I loved her in Heathers. And, you know, of course I love Cher.
Beetlejuice.
Yeah, Beetlejuice had come out. Like, she's great. She's great. So, of course, I was going to see it. I saw it in the theater, thought it was great. Have seen clips recently on social, and I'm like, I kind of want to rewatch this. So that's why I bumped it up the list. And then when you shared it in our Facebook group, people seem very excited about that, which made me happy.
Right away.
Yeah, I like it when I like it when we pick a movie that everyone's like, ooh. Because this isn't the kind of movie that like a lot of movie podcasts talk about. Like, it's not a big blockbuster. It's not like even a cult movie, but I suspect a lot of people grew up watching this movie on like USA. It feels
or
like
Lifetime, maybe?
Yeah, it feels like that kind of movie to me. So let's go.
Not TNT.
No, this is not a TNT movie. Not to me, anyway.
Yeah.
TNT feels...
It's a TBS.
Yeah.
TNT feels like it's the Warriors.
Yeah,
it's more action.
Yeah, it's more bro-y. I get like more
Yeah.
for dudes. It's got like a dude vibe to it. This one...
For bros.
None of that.
No.
There's nothing bro about this movie. It's 100%. This is for the ladies. Like... I'm sure, I don't want to stereotype. I'm sure there's some dudes that like this movie too, but I feel like this is definitely like girl movie.
Maybe some gay boys liked it back in the day.
Cher too. The Cher factor.
Cher looks beautiful in this movie.
Beautiful in this movie.
This is peak Cher.
Yes. She looks gorgeous. You totally understand why Bob Hoskins' character Lou is like instantly like, hello, like, because she's beautiful.
She's exotic looking, and it totally makes sense. Like if it's 1963 in Boston area, we don't get a lot of New England stuff.
Yeah.
But that if she shows up in her tight pants, her Laura Petrie pants, and high heels and her flip hair, and she's walking around, I get it. Like in a Catholic town, that has to be like, ooh, heavens to Betsy.
Yes, and they are Jewish, so that's the whole thing. And Winona Ryder's character Charlotte wants to become a Catholic nun, even though they're Jewish.
Winona Horowitz, by the way, that's her real name.
That's right.
So she's Jewish, yeah.
Yeah, so she's got this. This is her current obsession, is being a Catholic nun. She's wearing her little cross, wearing a cross around her neck and praying. And Cher's character, who is named Rachel Flax, but Charlotte constantly just refers to her as Mrs. Flax, is always reminding her that they're actually Jewish. And, Cher is one of those like fun movie moms in this movie. I serve fun finger food instead of proper dinners and dessert kebabs, and she wears like really stylish, I guess pretty tight clothes, because again, if you got it you got it, flaunt it. And this group of ladies, so Cher, Winona Ryder, Christina Ricci is the little one. She's like in the second grade, I think, in this movie, one of her first movies. Mm-hmm. They move around a lot. Basically, like Cher hooks up. She tends to hook up with like married men, apparently. And at some point, when that blows up, she's like, "Time to go." And as the movie opens, they are now on their like 18th move, and they move to Massachusetts.
Yeah, and I was a kid that moved a lot. I didn't move 18 times, but I moved a bunch, and it sucks. So I have so much empathy for characters when they go through that. When their parents are like, you'll just go to another school. Like, oh, thanks a lot. I got to start this shit
ain't
all
no
over
thing.
again.
Yeah, you have to start all over. You have to make all new friends.
New rules.
Yes.
New clothes. New everything. And, did you like being in theater? Well, too fucking bad. They don't have that here, so you're going to have to do something else. Yeah. Sorry. This isn't about Margot's rage at her child.
No, these things are... This is why these are the things I love about movies, though, is like, you can connect to them and they like bring up your stuff and they help you process your shit. So that's what I like about them.
I don't think Siskel and Ebert would talk about it this way.
No, they would, they would focus on performances and story. And there probably isn't, I would say there's probably not a lot in this movie that Siskel or Ebert would relate to, but I think there are things that I could definitely relate to in this movie. And Cher's character, she is divorced. Both the girls have different dads. She clearly has like a fear of commitment. That's why she moves towns. Every time a relationship gets too serious or blows up, she like moves town. As someone who is also now divorced and has her kid, I understand like navigating, trying to do the single parenting thing. I can relate. So there's things in this movie that definitely click for me. So they move to their town and they immediately meet Jake Ryan. And his character is named Joe. So they meet Joe, and Joe is 26. This is one of the things in the movie that doesn't work for me. So Joe is 26. He works as a handyman at a convent that is nearby the Flax's house, which Charlotte loves because she wants to be a Catholic nun. And immediately, like, Charlotte is obsessed with him, in love with him because he's cute. He's very cute. I get it.
He's my type. I was like, I'd fall hard.
It's just my type.
I would fall hard. Yep.
Yeah, he's first of all handyman. Love myself a handyman, and he's very handsome. He's a handsome dude. I get it. So she's like instantly smitten with him, and that relationship is problematic to say the least. She's 15. Yeah, she's 15.
We didn't say that. She's 15. She's playing 15. He's 9 years older than her.
Yes.
Or 11 years older. I can't do math. 11. He's much older than her. He's far too old for her. And immediately Cher is just like, whoop, there's your future boyfriend.
Yeah.
And Winona is like, no, I don't want a boyfriend. But she's instantly like kind of giving consent to it.
Yes, which is, I'm like, okay, is this because it's like the 60s and I was looking at a different thing? And then, everything is all over the internet right now about like Elvis and how, with Priscilla and how she was like 14 when they met and all this. Are you seeing it? It's like Vanity Fair has some story going on right now about it, which we've already know because we did this.
We did an episode on it for What a Creep about Elvis. Yeah. So she was 14 and he was, I think, 21 or 22. Yeah. So there's a big age difference. He's just a fucking grown up with a car. But there are red flags we would see because we're like, why is he only, who is this guy? What is he about? Why does he seem... He was also the bus driver?
Yes. I was like, first of all, he's the bus driver for the school. I was like, another red flag. Like, if you're old enough to drive the school bus, you are too old to be dating people who are taking the school bus. Like, it's not okay.
This wasn't that long ago, and also in real life, I don't know if you were going to mention this, but Winona Ryder, who was maybe 17 or 18 when she made this movie, she was dating Johnny Depp.
Yes.
Who was that much older than her, and they were engaged.
That's right.
Pretty quickly, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think age difference was that big of a deal back. And I'm thinking of the 60s, but like...
This is the 90s and people didn't say anything.
Exactly. Like it was we were supposed to be totally fine with this. And maybe I was at the time, or maybe I didn't do the math, but now I've definitely done the math and that relationship does not work for me on any level. It doesn't make any sense to me other than he's handsome, why she likes him. And it doesn't make any sense to me why he's spending time with her other than he's polite, I guess.
He's polite, but still there should be boundaries, and he knows he's too old for her. He has to know. So that's a problem, by the way, with the script. I mean, they could make her 17 and make him like 20, 21.
Right. Or make her a senior in high school that's 18.
Right.
Or, there are things they could have done here.
They didn't, and maybe that's what's in the book. Once again, I have not read the book, so but still, if they made a lot of changes, like they changed the cast for this movie like a week before, like Emily, what's her face,
Emily Lloyd.
She was this actress who was in some British movies, and she was started to cross over in America.
Yeah, she did a movie called "Wish You Were Here," I think.
Yes. And she was going to be the next big thing.
Yes.
And then, I don't know if you heard about this, but she was bitten by a dog and developed OCD.
Oh, my God.
And it had this traumatic reaction. It took her years of therapy. Like she, for whatever reason, it was this triggering incident, and it caused her to have OCD that took her years to deal with. So she had this hot career, and then she just kind of disappeared.
Yeah,
But she got $400,000 because they fired her like 2 weeks from like shooting or something.
Yeah.
So she got this movie did not make a lot of money, but
no,
we'll get into that.
Yeah, it's funny that you mention all this because I also was like, what happened to Emily Lloyd? And went down like a little bit of a rabbit hole. And, you know, she did a movie with Bruce Willis called like In Country. I think she did another movie called Cookie with like Peter Falk. And like, she was just...
Ricci Lake?
Was Ricci Lake in that too?
I wonder. I'm thinking of different movies. I also think of Times Square.
Ricci Lake did a movie called Mrs. Winterbourne, which is also directed by Richard Benjamin.
Ah, see, there's
a
whole Ricci Lakeness about this that we didn't know.
But she got labeled as one of those people that was difficult to work with, and then people stopped working with her. But the truth was, she had problems. She had things going on that were just not being addressed. So it's really sad.
Yeah, and also Cher was like, nobody's going to believe me because she's blonde. And it's like, you could put a wig on somebody. So I realized like that was a red flag for me. I'm like, but Cher doesn't take, and Cher had won an Oscar like a couple of years before for Moonstruck. So she had a lot of power.
Yes, definitely. And Cher
and she had workout DVDs.
Did she?
And the hair. Remember she had workout DVDs? Yes, we sold them at my store. And she had the hair commercials. Remember the hair commercials?
Yes.
Cher had a hair thing. Oh my God, it was the best.
Well, her hair is beautiful in this movie.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. Her and Bob Hoskins' relationship, they're the ones they're the best part of the movie to me. I mean, I love the Christina Ricci stuff too, but Cher is the best part of this movie, and that relationship is the best part because, again, the stuff with Winona Ryder and the old handyman, Jake Ryan, that stuff doesn't work for me. But like, I love the relationship with Mrs. Flax and Bob Hoskins' character Lou. I like that he is instantly into her. I love that he loves how outlandish she is, how direct she is. Like that she has all this experience when, back when women would pretend, to not have a lot of experience.
She had game.
Exactly. And like, I love that he comes over for like lunch, and they're very honest with each other. She's like, do you want to go out? And he's like, no. And she's like, me neither. And they just like hop into bed, and she's very honest with him. And she can be a little harsh, but I really like their relationship a lot.
I do too. It's unconventional. He's shorter than her.
Yes.
He's working an American accent. He's doing pretty well with it.
Yeah.
He's like also a handyman too. He like helps the girl. I love the way Christina Ricci's character, by the way, her father was an Olympic swimmer. Yes. Cher had a one night stand.
Yes.
She was a maid at a hotel, and that's how they met each other. And so Christina Ricci is really into swimming, and a part of me is like, she's like 5 feet tall. She's not going to be a big swimmer, but not to break your dreams now, kiddo. But in the movie, that's her thing. Like, she's really into swimming, and so he creates for her bedroom this beautiful blue paradise. When they turn the lights on, it's so cute. It's so sweet. He really loves them, and she's never known her father. So that Cher is like taking these kids around, and they have no father figure. And then Winona Ryder, and it could have been in the 60s, 1963. My mom was a teenager dating my dad, very innocent Catholic girl. There's probably things she didn't know either.
Yeah.
But Winona Ryder, first she kisses him. They go on a date and he kisses her, and then she thinks she's pregnant because of the kiss.
Yes, because she doesn't know anything about sex at 15.
Nothing about sex, right? And so that scene with the doctor is very real. Like he's like, boom. And he's like, don't worry, you're still a virgin. And she's kind of like, what the hell just happened? So Cher, but it's weird because Cher's saying like so sex positive, but then they don't know what sex is.
Yeah. All of that stuff is weird.
Yeah.
And there's also this weird thing about Winona Ryder's character, Charlotte, keeps like I need my dad to come back and save me. And my dad, like, and she doesn't really know her dad. It's like she doesn't know anything about her dad. And there's another strange scene where she steals her mother's car and she just drives until it runs out of gas, I guess.
And then just walks into people's house and just sharing these weird stories with them.
Yeah, she just walks in to this family's house. It seems like a perfectly nice family. And she just lies about her name, starts making up all these weird stories. They finally track her down and bring her back. And then it's kind of not really addressed again.
Yeah, and I should say there's a line in this movie, and any writer that uses it should be beaten with a script till they're bloody. And that line is, you know what? I don't know what it means to be a parent. You don't come with instructions. That is so fucking trite. So stupid. We all know that.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that it doesn't come with instructions. I get it's overwhelming, but it's such a cheesy line. Like you would put that line in there and then you would highlight it in yellow and say, I will, of course,
I'll be changing this. This is filler until I think of what the real line is. Yes.
What's something more clever or even just clever. And so anyway, but that's the only time. And I'm trying to, so Bob Hoskins is trying to get to Cher. Cher is now putting her walls up because they're becoming much closer.
Yes.
So then she's hinting to Winona Ryder that we're probably going to move again. And Winona's like very righteously says and should, I'm sick of moving. I want to stay one place and go to school. Also, they have her, and this is a very, if you're going to get Winona Ryder, you want the reactions. I remember the Emmy speech a couple of years ago. Winona's face was like reacting on stage to everything.
Yes.
She's very expressive.
She is
beautiful and expressive.
Yes.
And so they do the thing. There's a lot of the interior monologuing like she did in, there's a voiceover like she did in Heathers.
Yes.
And I feel like after a while, I'm like, Maron, does she have to ask God again for a thing?
Yeah.
It just seems to come out of nowhere. And it's just like a quirk that she has that she wants to be a nun, but then she's lusting after this guy, which is normal, but sure, oppressed 60s. I think this thing with John Kennedy, the assassination was handled in an interesting way.
Yes.
I think there's some things are, but I just think like her character, it's just bizarre. So she starts dating Jake Ryan. Let's just call him that. I can't be bothered with Joe, but he's once again 11 years older. He's taking her out, and then there's this whole sequence where Cher's like on a date.
I guess
Winona and then so Winona and her sister, and then Winona's wearing her mom's dress.
Yeah.
They start drinking, and then Winona just takes off to be with the guy, has sex with him.
Yes.
Unprotected.
Yes.
And the sister is then playing in water, and then she almost drowns. And then the nuns have to save the sister from drowning.
And that shit is very upsetting. Like,
yes,
it was by the way, upsetting in 90 when I saw it. More upsetting now as like an adult with an 11-year-old son who's also like kind of obsessed with being in pools and swimming. Like to see that is super upsetting. And again, like, I don't know if they needed to up the stakes like this to tell the story that they're telling. Like,
once again, this could be directly from the book.
Yeah.
But it becomes this incident. So that Christina Ricci's now in the hospital. They're not sure if she's going to be okay or not.
Yes.
What the fuck? And then Winona Ryder feels bad. And then Cher's giving her a hard time. Like, I told you, it's your fault, and slaps her on the face.
Yeah.
Snap out of it. Just kidding. She doesn't say that. But she might as well. I mean, it's kind of, but then it becomes that thing like Winona's like, oh, I'm so sorry, but I just want a father and I want a blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So then she and Cher have a moment where they kind of understand each other better. Christina Ricci doesn't drown, doesn't die. She's okay.
But she gets like suffers some sort of hearing loss, which, that sucks. That's a shitty thing to happen. Go ahead. Sorry.
And I'm sorry. I'm forgetting. Like, how does it end?
It just ends with them like staying in the town.
Mm-hmm.
And now the Charlotte character is no longer fixated on being a nun. She is now obsessed with like Greek mythology. And then Cher's character's like, is like, we're not Greek. But she also, like, everyone in town knows that Charlotte hooked up with Jake Ryan. So now every boy in school is trying to like carry her books for her and like all this stuff because they want to fuck her too. I'm like, oh, brother. But yeah. So they basically, they stay in town.
They stay in town. Okay. And they should. I mean, but there's also a weird scene where Cher kisses the guy, kisses the girl's boyfriend.
Yeah.
Or potential boyfriend. Like,
yes.
What?
Yeah. The movie's all over the place because Cher, again, first of all, I'm not even sure why the movie's called Mermaids, but at one point, Cher's character is going to a New Year's Eve party that's also a costume party. So she dresses up as a mermaid and she goes to the party and Bob Hoskins is there, Lou's there. And he asks her to like move in with him. First, he asks her to marry him and she's like, you're still married to your wife. Like you need to get an actual divorce. And then he asks her to move in and she says no. And then he's like, you know what? Peace out. I'll see you later. So she gets a ride home with Jake Ryan. And then she gives it like, and then she kisses him like as a like Happy New Year. And she kisses him, but it isn't a very innocent peck. It is like a full on kiss. And Charlotte comes out, confronts her, like, why are you kissing my boyfriend? And confronts him. Like, why are you kissing my mom? And he doesn't.
Because she's a kid.
Yeah. And he doesn't say shit to her. He just gets in his car and drives off. And I was like, this character is problematic. He's too old for her.
I think it got him out of show business. I think he was like, I'm not going to get anything better. Like, I'm playing a dipshit character who's just there to be handsome.
Yes.
Like, it's the Jake Ryan part too, but like less rapey.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. Well, more statutory rapey as opposed to date rapey.
I think those are two huge issues that I have with this.
Yes.
It's their character. And so I wonder, if they could you could just easily change an age from 15 to 17 to 18. Yes. It's not that big of a deal, but they didn't. They just had to keep it in a particular way to tell the story. But I think the storytelling, I think what we have here is some cute scenes.
Yes.
And a good soundtrack.
Yes.
And of course we have our requisite, everyone's lip syncing. Yeah. Well, not even lip syncing. They're all singing, that.
Yeah. If you want,
woman, your wife.
Yeah. If you want to be happy for the rest of your life, make an ugly woman your wife. Like, yeah. And they're all singing. There are a bunch of cute scenes, but the movie it's so uneven. It's just so uneven. Yeah. Like 1 second Charlotte is like, oh, my mother's the worst. Like, I want to stab her with a knife. I wish my dad was here, blah, blah, blah. And the next minute she's like, lip syncing with her mom in the kitchen or like telling her how beautiful she is and getting in the tub with her when she's in her mermaid costume. Like the movie is all over the place. It doesn't know what it's doing. And you know what it kind of reminds me of? It reminds me a little bit of Practical Magic. Practical Magic has these like occasionally like great scenes that I'm like, oh, I love those scenes and I love the way it looks. And it's so, it's got like a fun soundtrack and it's got people in it that I love. And then when I sit down and watch the whole movie, I was like, oh, I forgot about that part. Oh, I forgot about that part. Like, oh, but then I'll still watch it because of the parts that I love, like make the other parts worth it, I guess.
It's like that for me, Scent of a Woman. There's parts that I love.
Yes.
And gigantic parts that I just leave the room when it's on. Like if it's like on USA, I was like, I'll go downstairs and check my laundry. I'll do this, but then come back for the things I like to see.
Yeah.
I think that's what this is too. I mean, it's perfectly fine as a story.
Yeah.
It's just not original. And I think now it's problematic.
Yes.
It's statutory rape.
Yes.
They could have changed those numbers and ages
it would
of
have been
people.
so easy.
Yeah,
It would have been
and
so
it would have made
easy.
more sense.
Yes.
And they maybe should have found somebody younger, honestly, than him,
Yeah.
and found somebody like 19 or 20 years old.
Yes. I agree.
Because 26 is a little like, what's this dude's problem? He's a handyman and a bus driver.
Yeah, a 26-year-old grown-ass man in 63 who's like driving the school. That good looking, single, driving the school bus and ringing bells at the convent. Red flag.
Yeah.
Like that's, it's weird. The whole thing is weird. If this movie had been like 100% like Cher's character's point of view, I think this would have been a better movie. Like, because there's a real character there. There's things in it that I was like, I like this. Like when Charlotte like runs away and moves in with the family in Connecticut, and it's again hardly ever explained. Mrs. Flax is so angry when she gets home, and then she like is like, stay away from me. I'm so mad at you right now. And then she comes back a little bit later and she's like, okay, I've had a little scotch. I'm real calm. Let's talk about what happened. And I'm like, I can kind of relate to that. Like when
That's the best way to handle it.
Yeah, when your kid like is like driving you nutso, and then you're like, just to say you're driving me nutso, take a step back, and I don't drink scotch, but I might have a glass of wine and then come back. Like, okay, let's talk about what's
just
happening.
like get it out of your system.
Yes.
Yeah, just scream it out of your system and then like approach it more rationally.
Yes.
But versus being super hyper emotional. But yeah, I thought, but there's just glimpses of that.
Yes,
and I don't
exactly.
I don't know if like the script is I think it's a case of like, we need to get Winona Ryder. She's hot. While she's still a teenager, while she's still playing teenagers, what can she play?
Yeah.
So, and this is the kind of part that she played at the time. Edward Scissorhands.
Oh, yes.
There's a lot of this. Like she played kind of these waify, lost, soulful. I loved her in Lucas when she was really little.
Yes.
She did that movie, and she was so good she's so good in that. She's a great actress.
Yeah. She did another movie.
The story is.
Yeah.
What's another movie she did?
She did another one called Welcome Home, Roxy Carmichael.
Oh, yeah.
That was like the same year. Very similar story about like she's convinced that this actress or this person, Roxy Carmichael, is her real mother or something. Like a very similar performance.
Yeah.
And Winona Ryder is good in this movie. It's not her fault that the script is the way it is, but I thought it was interesting that she was actually nominated for a Golden Globe for supporting actress, and Cher wasn't nominated for anything, when I really think Cher is the one doing a thing in this movie.
She's got the most to do.
Yeah.
And she carries the film.
Yes.
But I still think it's a little weak. I still think it's a little bit of weak sauce. There's something missing from all this.
Yes. And again, Christina Ricci, though, so cute. Like everything she does, adorable. Everybody drink. Everything she does, the thing where she puts the pumpkin on her head and like runs in and like falls down. Just the way I don't know, the way she even acts in the shoe store where she's trying to like ride the horse, and she's so sweet. She's so sweet. I love her in this. Who knew she would go on to be such a huge star? I mean, I guess you should know when you see this. Do you want to hear about some other 1990 movies?
Yes, please.
Okay. We already mentioned Welcome Home, Roxy Carmichael, and Edward Scissorhands. What do you think? Is Edward Scissorhands like one of your top Burtons, or are you like about it?
That movie, I like how it looks.
Yeah.
But I remember thinking like, it's a very quirky film and a quirky script and all that. And sometimes quirky gets on my nerves.
Yeah.
I need some reality. I don't know what it is. Anyway, my long way of saying I haven't watched it in a while.
Same.
So
I remember liking it at the time, and then I started to get frustrated by the conversations around Edward Scissorhands and the people that were fans of Edward Scissorhands. And I was like, y'all are ruining this for me. Like, I'm like,
What do you mean?
like, just the kind of like, it was almost like before men discovered Quentin Tarantino movies, they would talk about Tim Burton movies. And it was just kind of like the male discussion around Edward Scissorhands. I was just like, whatever, film bro. Like, you're ruining this for me. Like, just let me enjoy Edward Scissorhands. Like, that sort of talk, basically. I worked at the movie theater when this was playing, so I was surrounded by people who loved movies and a lot of film bros, basically.
Got it.
Okay, a couple more movies. Men Don't Leave. Did you see it?
Who's in that?
It is
Jessica Lange.
Jessica Lange. Yes. Thank you. I almost blanked on her name.
Tandy. Men Don't Leave.
Yes. Men Don't Leave is very... Actually, there's two movies here that are very Mermaids-esque. Men Don't Leave and then Stella.
Stella, which was the remake of the original Stella Dallas.
Yes.
And it's Bette Midler and Trini Alvarado.
Yeah.
And John Goodman.
And John
Goodman's
Goodman.
in there.
The Good.
It's a weird movie.
You got the good.
He's the good man. It's a weird movie.
I just remembered yesterday and the end of What a Creep, you referred to Christina Ricci as the Reach. You were like, the Reach.
The Reach.
I'm just going to start referring to her as the Reach. Okay, all other movies from 90. Lambada. Do you remember when?
Forbidden Dance.
And that, well, there was Lambada, and then there was the Forbidden Dance. They came out like right around the same time. Two movies about one kind of dance. Oh my! Did you see these movies? Because I saw these movies. I did. They're terrible. Surprise! Spoiler, everybody. They're not good. I bet. Actually, I wonder if I would like them a little bit more now because they're pretty ridiculous. Okay, more movies. Days of Thunder.
I've only seen clips of it. I've never actually seen the whole movie.
It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous movie. That's a TNT movie. Days of Thunder.
That was always on. Yeah, and so I've seen, but it's like Nicole Kidman, who was like 23 at the time, was like a neurosurgeon or something. Yes. It's like, I mean, and that's when I was getting to be like, Tom Cruise gets on my nerves. Like he's not Tom Hanks for me.
Yes.
He's a different Tom. Yeah.
Speaking of annoying, Ghost Dad.
Oh, Bill Cosby?
Bill Cosby.
Oh, he's annoying for sure. For over
Just a little
people.
bit. Just a little bit.
He's
Ghost
a piece of shit,
Dad.
by the way.
He's such a piece of shit. Okay, The Exorcist 3.
The Heretic?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, that's a thing.
It's a thing. I know some horror people think it's one of the better ones. I don't.
Okay.
But,
I've never seen it. Maybe I should see it and decide for myself.
Well,
but we're going to talk about The Exorcist in October. Maybe I should do a whole Exorcist thing and watch them all.
I think maybe I will too.
All right. Let's do it.
Do it.
Two more. Henry and June.
Boring.
Boring.
It was a movie. It's a movie that was NC-17. It had Uma Thurman and Fred Ward.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So it's about Henry Miller and his June. What's her nuts?
I don't remember.
What's her buns? I don't know. But yeah, it's supposed to be like the super horny movie. It was like an NC-17. So of course I went to see it. I was like, oh my, I was falling asleep everywhere. It's a real snooze. It
played at my movie theater. And I remember like people were like, it's NC-17. That's basically X. Then I saw it and I was like, yawn. I was so disappointed. And then the last movie is Jacob's Ladder.
Which we'll do one day because that's a really freaky, deaky movie.
So scary. Jacob's Ladder kind of fucked me up after I saw it. In fact, I haven't even gone back to watch it because I remember it fucking me up at the time. And that's our list.
Do you want to hear the top 10 songs in America when this came out? It was December 10th, 1990.
Yeah.
I think it's around there. All right. So number 10. Damn Yankees, High Enough. Can you take me
Nah.
Oh, I liked that song.
Of course you did.
Yeah, I'm a rock chick. Number 9, this is one of the best songs of all time. George Michael, Freedom.
What? That is my favorite George Michael song.
And
The
I
best.
love George Michael. I think that's my
Yes.
favorite too. That song does not get old. That is, it's phenomenal. Number 8, this is Poison, Something to Believe In.
This is another one that Margot certainly loved.
No, it's not. Trust
No?
me. This
You
is
weren't
when I
into
was like,
Poison?
no. I liked Poison fine, but I like their talk dirty to me.
You like not the ballads.
No ballads.
Okay.
No. Yeah, every rose has its thorn. I was like, get me out of here. No, not into the ballads. Number 7, DNA featuring Suzanne Vega, Tom's Diner.
Oh my God. And now, because we've mentioned Tom's Diner, it'll be stuck in everyone's head all day. You're welcome.
Yeah. Here's another one. UB40, the way you do the things you do.
It's just UB40's
How did they
not.
become?
They're not my jam.
No, and I don't know how they. Anyway, Wilson Phillips, Impulsive. I didn't remember.
I
Impulsive.
totally remember this song.
See, I knew you
wanna
did.
be impulsive, reckless.
Number 4, talk about dirty. Madonna, Justify My Love.
That
Remember
was
that?
another
was
horny
filthy.
song. It was supposed to be so horny, and you couldn't even watch the video on MTV. You had to buy it on video to watch it because it's so horny, and then you watch it and you're like, meh.
Yeah. Number 3, Whitney Houston, I'm Your Baby Tonight. Great song.
Great song. I love Whitney Houston songs.
We love her. Talk about number 2, Bette Midler, From a Distance.
This is this is like Wind Beneath Your Wings style
Yeah.
Bette Midler stuff. This is not my jam.
Nah, it's too drippy for me. Number 1, Stevie B, Because I Love You.
I used
the
to love-
Postman song.
I used to love that song. Loved it. I was such a slow dance song. Oh, so good. That's a good list.
Yeah, that's a good list. That's 1990 for y'all.
Okay, what else are you dorking out about, my friend?
Well, we lost William Friedkin this past week when we were
Yes.
recording it. He directed The Exorcist, which we're going to be talking about. We're going to talk about To Live and Die in LA when that comes out, hopefully
can't
in 4K. Maybe it'll come
wait.
out on Criterion or something, because that's an excellent movie from my memory. I haven't
Yes.
seen in a long time. And then we talked about The French
Jade.
Connection
We've done Jade.
and Jade. I done on my other show, The Exorcist, and The Boys in the Band, which is one of his first films.
yeah.
So I'd always heard that he had a movie that came out in 1977 called Sorcerer.
Oh,
And that because of
yeah.
Star Wars, nobody paid attention to this really great film. And it's got all these stars, top ratings. So I'm like, all right, Wednesday night's an open night for me. I'm going to watch Sorcerer. I can't tell you a fucking thing about this movie. I have no idea. I was so bored.
Oh my God. This is fascinating to me because I've never seen it. And again, people are like, underappreciated gem, Sorcerer. It's a masterpiece. No one ever talks about it. And you're like, you're bored.
Yeah.
Yawn.
I'm
Okay.
bored. It's in, well, for one thing, I don't like In the Jungle and Rainy.
Mm.
That's not my
Okay.
favorite. I mean, except for Romancing the Stone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that. I just find a very confining atmosphere, but it's about some heist that happens, I think, in South America. There's a lot of Spanish being spoken here. It's got Roy Scheider. I love me some Roy Scheider. Always got room for him.
Yes.
But other than that, there's it's just it's kind of cheesy. I'll be
Okay.
honest. It just didn't do it for me. What did do it for me though was you recommended a documentary on Netflix, and it's about hip hop. We should talk about this.
Yes.
Hip hop 50th anniversary. There was a concert last night. I guess it was in New York. I'm not sure where, but it was hip hop's 50th anniversary party, and Jay-Z rapped "No Sleep Till Brooklyn."
What?
It has this huge crowd. I know. I've been watching this on Twitter. I've been following this on Black Twitter, and I'm kind of like, all these great people are on stage. MC Light came out for New Jersey.
Oh my
for,
God.
the
I'm going to
Brooklyn
have
Nets
to watch
game.
this. I'm going to have to watch this.
So that's all over just check out I've been listening to a lot of hip hop this week, and I've been watching the documentaries, and there's one about the ladies of hip hop.
Yes.
And we need to know our history.
Yeah.
We need to know our herstory. And these women are giants, and we should know them as well as we know like Joni Mitchell.
Yes.
And Carole King, and you know what I mean? Like these are just classic performers. Yes. Stevie Nicks, Chrissy Hynde, like these women are fucking up right there. Like brilliant minds, super smart. Queen Latifah, we talked about her on our What a Creep podcast.
As
She's
a non-creep
of the week. As a non-creep.
Yeah.
I worked with her. She's fantastic. And it's just that whole culture. It's just taking me back. New York City in the 70s and 80s was just exciting. It's scary, but exciting.
Yes.
And the music and Rick Rubin and all that is just really just soaking my brain this week. And it's just been great.
I have also been, it's like palm olive. I've been soaking in it. I have been soaking in the hip hop collection on the Criterion Channel. And I watched the documentary about The Art of Rap. It's hosted by Ice-T, and there's one about freestyling, and then I watched Crush Groove, and I will definitely be watching Beat Street at some point, but then I also watched Ladies First, the story of women in hip-hop on Netflix, and just I basically sat there and like started adding songs to started making a playlist as I was watching it, because there's so many songs I haven't listened to in a while, and then there was just a bunch of people that I heard them in the 80s, but I hadn't really listened to those songs in a while, so I added those songs in a playlist. There's a whole bunch of women from the 90s and early 2000s that I totally missed. Like, I was just busy with life or whatever and wasn't listening to music, and I was like, I want to catch up. So it's a really good documentary. I'm glad you watched it.
I loved it, and this is history we all need to know, and the music is fantastic, and it's perfect for summertime too.
Yeah.
I just love classic rock and hip hop in the summer are just like peanut butter and jelly for me. Like it just goes down easy, and they're fantastic.
Yeah, I actually hope they do. I would like them to do a couple more episodes, because I feel like there's more people they could interview too. Like
they kind of rush it. I think they rushed it because it's like it should have been one more episode, because then they go right into like all of a sudden it's like WAP and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Like from the last couple of years, and I think they could have absolutely added more to it.
Yeah, and there's no reason they can't. Like if people want to be interviewed, they should start. They could just do so much. There's so many people that they didn't get to interview. Maybe they didn't have time to be interviewed. Like I would love to hear from like Nicki Minaj and Lauryn Hill. You know, they talk about those people, but they're not interviewed. And it's like, if they could get interviews with them, that would be rad. I would like that.
Yeah, and women tend to get erased from music history, or it's sort of like, okay, you get one woman mentioned for the 10 guys we talk about. So it's great to have a documentary that's just about what the women did and it's their contribution, because it gets erased and it's bullshit. We grew up with that. Like, oh, you have like one chick in the band. There you go.
That's representation. You're welcome.
Right. Yeah.
That's why something like Lilith Fair turned into a thing in the 90s, because you could only get one female artist on a bill, and that's when Sarah McLachlan was like, I'm going to start a whole thing where it's going to be just all women. Like, by the way, I was like, bring that shit back, by the way.
Yeah, because we don't want to be going on the road with a bunch of, we find out later, check out our rock episode of What a Creep, but like some creeps that are from Lollapalooza that are sexual assaulters and just assholes. And yeah.
Is there anything else on your list?
No, that was it.
Okay. I did want to mention, I saw the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. I took my son to see it. It is written by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, who, they've written things like Superbad and all the other like Seth Rogen movies that you can think of. It's got that animation style that they use in the like Spider-Verse movies, Into the Spider-Verse movies. They made the female reporter character April O'Neil a teenager, and obviously the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are also teenagers, so it's very enjoyable. It's actually really funny. It's very sweet. I liked it better than the like obvious. I'm going to say obviously. A lot of people love those like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from movies and cartoons from the 90s. I've only seen the movie from the 90s. It's fine. I like this one more. Calvin really liked it. He said he enjoyed it, but he hasn't asked about it since. So take that what you will.
I know nothing about that. Like, I'm not saying a word because I know nothing about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I don't think
I will take your word for it.
I don't think you have to know anything about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to see this movie. I think I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun and sweet, and the animation is cool, and the jokes work for me. Yeah, I liked it. So if you've already seen Barbie, you could see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You could do worse. That'll go on the poster. You could do worse.
Well, you also took him to a special screening.
Yes. So the Alamo Draft House here does a sensory screening where they just they bring the lights down, but not all the way, and they don't play the movie as loud. And it's for like people on the spectrum or people with sensory processing disorders. And also it's just a great way to take a kid to a movie, especially if your kid likes to talk, which mine does. They waive the no talking policy in the sensory screening.
My parents would have loved that because they couldn't shut the fuck up. My parents talked through everything in their lives.
Yeah. And
Calvin,
he is trying to understand like what's happening, and he wants clarification. He wants confirmation that he is understanding what he's seeing. So we sit together and he'll ask me like, is that a good guy? Is that a bad guy? Like, he looks mad. Am I right? Is he mad? You know,
my dad would be like, Mark, who's that guy? Was he the one in that movie? And then Mom goes, shh. No, I think he's the one. You're thinking of the guy. Remember when we saw him on the GCM thing? Oh yeah.
What did he say? What did he? What did he say when I said what did he say?
Why are they laughing? Shut up.
Some
people just talk. That's just how they do things.
Yeah, some people are talkers, and I guess a sensory screening is for you.
Yes.
Calvin's not really into going to the actual movie theater. He likes to watch movies at home because he likes to talk. He doesn't want to feel like he's ruining things for other people. But he has questions. So we did that. Again, great way to take your kid to see a movie. So this was fun. I'm glad we talked about Mermaids, and I know that our listeners will be stoked because they sure were excited. My friend, sorry to disappoint you listeners, but we're pretty indifferent. Where can they find you on the internet, Margot?
You can find me on Twitter at Brooklyn Margot, and I'm on Threads and Instagram, and my site is Brooklyn Fitchick, and then on TikTok I'm at Margot Donahue, where I put movie clips, but I've also been lately doing mashups of like people dancing in the 50s and 60s on TV shows, and then mixing it with modern music, and it's so much fun. I irritate some people, but it amuses the hell out of me.
It's not irritating. Anyone who's irritated by that, they are wrong. If you like the sound of our voices, we also co-host a podcast called What a Creep, where we talk about creeps of the past and the present. So go check that out. Right now, we are talking about Below Deck. If you're wondering, how come they didn't talk about Below Deck today? Because we're already talking about it on that episode. So go listen to that. And we also talk about The Biggest Loser. So enjoy that. You can find me at thesoniashow.com and The Sonia Show on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, all the places. If you want some stickers for Dorking Out Show, email us at dorkingoutshow@gmail.com. Send us your address. We'll send you some stickers. If you want to give us a request, a movie you want us to dork out about, you can email us there as well, or tag us on social media at Dorking Out Show. Again, Twitter, Threads, Facebook, the Gram. We're everywhere you want to be, like Visa. Thanks for dorking out about mermaids with me, my friend.
I'm going to sing the Shoot Shoot song now just for her, for Cher.
Do it.